What's up? You good?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Hold on 1 second for me.
Just the last sentence. This here. Just the first sentence. Which proves a lot.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we'll get on the record. This is 21 SC 1777971, State versus Mr. Muckle. Mr. Muckle is in court with his lawyer, Mr. Hoover. We have Mr. Abate and Mr. Rao present for the state. And I think the only evidentiary motion left for a hearing is the 702 motion that Mr. Hoover has filed, where he seeks to exclude what he's calling Google geofence evidence. So the state's going to need to clear the 702 hurdles. We've already had a hearing on the 404B, haven't ruled on that, but I will get a ruling out on that as well as the 702 after we have the hearing today. And then I think the case should be trial ready. And there's some motions in limine that we'll work through on the eve of trial. We just need to find a week that works for the lawyers involved with the case, because they're pulled in lots of different directions. So Mr. Hoover, was there anything else you were hoping that we would cover today beyond your 702 motion?
No, Your Honor, this is it.
Okay, Mr. Abate? All right. So you don't have to plow ground unnecessarily. Well, actually, I'm going to ask you, Mr. Hoover, to get on the record what it is specifically you're challenging, so that when Detective Leon Packer is testifying, he's focused in the right space. He doesn't need to talk about cell towers if we're not talking about cell towers, if it's just geofence and Google and whatnot. It'll also help me understand what your concerns are. I've got your motion, and so I've read it, but it is primarily, it sets forth Rule 702 and what the requirements are to satisfy that.
Yes, Your Honor. Back in 2020, the I believe ADA Sprinkle got warrants signed by Judge Schwal in regards to geographical regional information for the time period of when the murder actually happened. That was July 3rd, 2018. On March 2nd, 2020, Google actually returned the requested data, and that information that Google sent back was basically, it showed that there were 3 devices that were in the area during that day and time that the ADA was searching for.
And the area would have been the household of the deceased.
Well, no, that's just it. It's the area where the house was, not the actual household itself.
Okay. But it sometimes the Google information is for a place where law enforcement believed the suspect to have been, but it's not the scene of the crime, because they're trying to figure out, well, what phone might be associated with him. This is an area, in your mind, it may be too large an area, but the significance of the geographical location is that it was the scene of the crime. Circle may have been too broad in your mind, so that you could have been within that circle, but still 100 yards from the house. And we can cover that. But in general, generically, the area was germane to law enforcement and ADA Sprinkle because it was the scene of the crime.
Yes, that's basically correct.
Okay, I'm not making you commit that, yes, it was the bedroom where the fire was started. I get that, but it wasn't 4 blocks away.
Correct. Yes,
Okay.
That's correct.
Got it. And it showed 3 devices that were in whatever radius we're talking about during the arguably relevant time.
For the day and time that they asked for, yes.
Okay. And that was it. There wasn't another geofence for a place 3 miles away, 30 minutes later.
There was, I believe, because the technology was new to Mr. Sprinkle, they had to go back and forth with exactly what type of warrant was needed. However, we're specifically talking about these 3 devices from this area and this area only.
Okay, got it. Was any one of the devices, if you know, and this may just come out during the testimony, a device belonging to I'm not remembering the name of the other suspect, the son of the victims.
No, Your Honor. From my understanding, the three devices were one that is believed to be Mr. Muckle's, one that's believed to be one of the victims, and one that's believed to be a neighbor.
Okay. Which wouldn't be surprising if the circle was big enough that there'd be a neighbor there.
Yes,
Okay,
correct.
got it. Okay. You've helped me. And so, and your challenge is what? That the data doesn't show devices are there. It's not reliable. And I guess that's what I need you to articulate. So I know what, and Mr. Abate knows what to press Detective Liam Packer, assuming he's the right witness.
Yes. Well, there's three challenges altogether. The first is the technology itself is not reliable. Number two, the witness that they're bringing in to, I guess, present this evidence to you and then to a jury isn't the proper witness to present this evidence. And number three, I guess I'll couch 3 and 4 together. 2 and 3 together. This witness isn't the proper witness to present this particular piece of evidence, and this witness isn't a proper witness at all in regards to this case. I guess that's how I would have to phrase it.
Okay. So it's wrong witness, Ray, technology, and then it's wrong witness, Ray, this case.
Yes.
All right.
And
I guess the third one isn't so much 702 as it might be it's hearsay, or it's I don't know if you call it best evidence. But I don't know that, but I guess we'll see what we learn from it.
yes, Your Honor. And basically, it's, to frame it, you're going to hear me say foundational validity, which is the technology itself.
Mhm.
And then there's validity as applied, and that is the witness and the technology.
Okay. Foundational validity.
But he was never absent during the time. If they ask for it, that's another issue we're gonna talk about. And we're
All right. Mr. Bate, you ready?
Yes,
I am too.
thank you. Call Detective Kevin Lane back.
So I found that testimony was delivered to the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help God.
I do.
Jordan, and I'll see.
And Your Honor, I'm not sure if there are any other witnesses, but we'd like to invoke the rule just in case.
Okay. Any other witnesses?
No, Judge.
That's it. Then everyone else can stay.
And Judge, do you mind if I remain seated that way? Still speaking to the microphone for Miss.
Ms. Rivers would prefer it unless you're going to be glued to the podium.
No.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Detective Liam Packer.
Good afternoon.
Can you, for the record, tell the court where you are currently employed?
Yes, I'm employed by the Atlanta Police Department.
And how are you employed with the Atlanta Police Department?
I'm a detective assigned to the homicide unit.
And can you tell the court a little bit about, as a detective assigned to the homicide unit, kind of what your current duties and responsibilities are?
My role in the homicide unit is to assist and conduct death investigations, investigations into homicides, suspicious deaths, suicides, and to assist other units within the Atlanta Police Department with investigations.
And as a part of assisting other investigators in investigations, do you help with, I guess, the technology aspect and whatever, whatever technology is involved? Do you assist in that part of the investigation?
I do.
Have you assisted other investigators in their investigations with cellular technology?
Yes.
Have you also, whether it is within your own investigation or assisting other investigators, applied for search warrants or applied for data using a search warrant to get information from Google?
Yes.
Okay, and can you tell the court a little bit about the process that you have to, I guess, proceed when getting data from Google?
I'd say the process is a little bit different depending upon the circumstances. In some cases, we have an identified suspect where we can associate that individual to a Google account. If we have that information, then we can apply for a search warrant for account-specific information to include location history and other information about that account, including web and application activity, Google searches, additional location information, which is stored separate from location history information that would apply to geofences, and sometimes even device backups for Android cell phones. In the case where we don't have an identified suspect and we're searching for essentially digital footprints left behind of individuals that were at or near a crime scene, we can apply for a search warrant for Google geofence information. And the process for that is we identify a location of interest. We can draw a circle or a polygon or a stretch of roadway that would be encompassed within a polygon to ask Google for any location history information obtained from any devices that were reporting location history to Google that were in a specific area during that specific time.
I have a question before you go on. You created a decision tree. Do we have a suspect and device, in which case we can go straight to the service